Good morning, students. Welcome back to my channel. So, we have recently started the new branch of our science, immunology. So, I've already started the first class regarding the immunity and immune system in our body. So, I'm also attaching that link. Please check the description box. So, in this class, as you have seen the thumbnail, let's discuss what is the how the body fights against an infection. So you all know that there are many cells produced in our body, and what are the roles of the blood cells, how they really invade, or how they really destroy the foreign particle that enters into your body and helps in getting away from the infection. So this class, let's talk about how really body saves from the infection. Okay, so for that, let's discuss what are the different type of blood cells in our body and where are they produced. Then we can talk about the NK cells, natural killer cells, and what is the mode of action of those natural killer cells. See, now let's see, yes, where are actually blood cells formed? So the process of production of blood cells is what you call the hematopoiesis, right? Hematopoiesis is the term used. So here you can see the fantastic diagram of how the blood cells are produced in the bone marrow. Okay, they are called hemopoid stem cells. This is the main branch where we get all the blood cells from. You know that this is the area from which we have different type of blood cells produced. So based on the type of cells, there are two types of progenitor cells called myeloid progenitor and lymphoid progenitor cells. Okay, and this particular myeloid progenitor cells actually gives rise to dendritic cells, granulocyte neutrophil cells, eosinophil cells. You have monocytes, you have RBC from which you got blood cells, you have megakaryocytes, right? These are all coming under the myeloid progenitor cells. Okay, now let's see what is a lymphoid progenitor cells. So lymphoid system, the name itself says these are all meant for your immune system, where it would immediately increase its number to reduce the infection in the body. So we have three different type of lymphoid progenitor cells, mainly T cells, B cells, and dendritic cells. So what are T cells, B cells? Based on the maturation of these particular cells, these cells, though they are produced in the bone marrow, they have to go to thymus and bone marrow for its maturation to happen. That is why they are called the T cell, thymus cell progenitor, and bone marrow cell progenitor, T cell, B cell, and the dendritic cells. And these T cells, upon the invade of some microorganisms, or for say viruses or any foreign particle, these starts releasing the TH cells and TC cells. Here you can see TH cells are the helper cells, TC cells are the cytotoxic cells. Okay, and this B cell progenitor, what they actually produce is you have plasma cells and antibody producing cells. So you also know that we have antibodies that are produced against the antigen. So it is so peculiar that based on the type of antigen that entered into your body, the antibody would be prepared and released into the blood, so that antigen antibody interactions happen, which makes the cell excluded from our body. That is how the in short I can say that. Okay, see here, when I come to myeloid progenitor cells, it mainly produces granulocyte monocyte progenitor. Okay, that is from where you get all types of your blood cells. So you all know that we have WBC, RBC, and thrombocytes, right? Thrombocytes are also called the blood platelets. These play a very important role for your clotting of blood when you have an injury. So they are called the blood platelets. So apart from that, you have RBC, which are mainly involved in the carrying of oxygen, transport of oxygen all over the body, and collection of the carbon dioxide as well, right? And the main important part is WBC. So WBC is the white blood cells, which generally increase in number when you have infection in your body. So we have many types of WBC, right? So mainly you when you enter into see, that is why I'm talking about. So when I talk about WBC, so you have granular WBC and agranular, based on the granules present in the cell. Okay, and these granular cells, like eosinophils, neutrophils, and basophils. These are all having granules in their cell body. Okay, please remember. And agranulocytes. These agranulocytes are the one which are mainly involved in your immune response. Okay, so please remember the chart that the agranulocytes are involved in your immune response basically because it has got the lymphocytes and monocytes. Okay. See, the team I told you, A granular lymphocytes mainly produce T lymphocytes, B lymphocytes, and you have monocytes based on the movement of these cells into the different tissues in your body. They are called as macrophages. I have also attached a small video that I taught about the monocytes, macrophages, wherever they go. Whether if it goes to liver cells, they are called the Kupffer cells. If we enter into the bone, they are called osteoclast cells, right? So all come under the monocytes. So okay, these are the types of WBC and types of blood cells. So in this class, let's talk about the natural killer cells. So these natural killer cells are the one which would immediately show its mode of action, right, and informs or provokes the other immune response as well. So let's see what is the mode of action of NK cells in this class so that you will get an idea what it is all about. Okay, right, what are the role of NK cells? So you once you got to know what is what are the types of blood cells in your body. So natural killer cells or the NK cells also promote the immune response by producing the granules. Okay, it produces cytotoxic granules that would readily remove all the infected cells from the body. So based on the activation of the MHC complex. So what is MHC complex? I will let you know in the slide. Okay, right. So as I told you, this is how the bone marrow. I told you bone marrow is a site for hematopoiesis. It produces all types of cells are produced mainly in the bone marrow, and out of which I am talking about the WBC. So WBC, I told you there are monocytes and lymphocytes. In lymphocytes you have T cells, B cells, and natural killer cells. As I am talking about the natural killer cells in particular in this class, let's talk what is the mode of action of these natural killer cells. Okay. How does the body fight against infection? So this is the topic that we are talking about in this class. So let's see. Right. So why NK cells are important? Because they are the first thing to observe whenever a foreign body enters into a body. The first NK cells would increase its number so that it has to dominate the infected number cells, and so that is called the primary line of defense. Okay, and it is also having the antiviral defense and cancer immunosurveillance. So that is why NK cells play important role in immunology. Now, role of NK cells in immune response. Actually, how it really identifies it? It mainly identifies it based on the major histocompatibility complex, also called MHC complex. That I will talk about in that next slide. So first of all, it releases and identify and destroy the infected or the cancerous cells. It releases the cytokines. It also promotes or provokes the other immune cells for its immune response. Right? It has to dominate the number from the infected cells. Then only they can have a war between the infected cells and the healthy cells of body, thus killing them. Right? So let's see. Mode of action. So this is very important because in this class I want to mainly pressurize on this only. So natural killer cells kill the target cells by releasing cytotoxic granules or by activating death receptors on the target cell. So you all know that apoptosis is a process called the self-destruction, right? This particular apoptosis should happen to maintain a body, healthy body, right? So this apoptosis should happen if any cell is infected by a foreign particle or a cancer or a virus or whatever it might be. Apoptosis is a must process. So for that, natural killer cells would first of all differentiate the cells whether they are going for apoptosis or not. If they are not going, they will release a cytotoxic granules by activating that particular death receptors on the target cells. Okay, now I want to talk about what are the cytotoxic granules that are released by the NK cells. So, NK cells synthesize and store apoptosis inducing proteins in lytic granules. As I told you, NK cells has to synthesize apoptosis. Then only the cells that are infected would die, right? So, when activated, the NK cells release the granules into the target cells. The granules contain perforin, granzymes and granulolysin. So please remember, these are the cytotoxic granules that are released by the NK cells. Okay, the main function of NK cells is to synthesize and store apoptosis inducing proteins. They have to make the cell induce apoptosis, that process, right? That is mainly synthesized by the NK cells. So okay, then only it can easily target the cells and release all the cytotoxins into their body. Okay, now let's see what is the mode of action and how does it activate, at the same time how it switches off its mechanism, two-way mechanism of your NK cells. So this NK cells, let's see what is the inhibition process. First of all, to talk about what is inhibition process, this particular NK cell should be in a position to differentiate whether the cell that entered is a body cell or the self-made self cell or a outside cell, right? It's a foreign particle or self particle. Then only it will act on it, right? So first of all, if NK cells recognizes that particular cell, if it is a body cell, it is a self cell, it would not destruct it. It is mainly dependent on the marker that is present on the cells. The target cells generally have a MHC, low graded MHC, or some target cells won't have the MHC molecule. MHC molecule is a major histocompatibility complex. You have two different complexes. I will let you know about that in a short video. Okay, major histocompatibility complex is a receptor that is present on the target cells. Okay, when the NK cells react upon it, like if it observes it and thinks it is a self particle, it should be having a well framed MHC molecules. Then only it will bind to it and it will not destruct the NK cell. Okay, think first it will attach to it, then thinks okay, it is a self cell, we should not kill it, then it goes by. If it again attaches to the other cell, yeah, it is self cell, so we should not attack. Again, if there is one downgraded MHC molecule or no MHC molecule, the target cell doesn't have that particular MHC molecule, then it thinks it is not our self particle and immediately release the cytokines, cytotoxic granules into the target cell, thus killing it. That is the mode of action. So it is based on switching on and switching off the mechanism. Switching on mechanism is killing it, switching off the mechanism is thinking it is a self cell. So that is the beautiful mode of action of the natural killer cells. So please go through it. Natural killer cells don't attack the cells with markers that indicate they are healthy cells that belong to our body. As I said, major histocompatibility complex is the most common cell marker and NK cell recognized as belonging to self. The major histocompatibility on the target cells attaches to a NK cell's inhibitory receptors. I told you that when it is made it as self, when it is considered as self, the killing function is completely stopped. That is what you call the inhibition mechanism of NK cell. Now, if you go through the activation mechanism, this is how the cells have been destroyed, how the infected cells have been destroyed, how the cancerous cell, how the virus attacked cell have been destroyed by the NK cell is the mechanism which it follows, right? So I told you, please let me know if I am little fast. Please let me know if I am having any doubt, because this complex or this immunology classes are interesting. If you have any doubt, please let me know in the comment section. The natural killer cells activate to destroy target cells they don't recognize as belonging. Cells that release activating signals, cancer cells and infected cells sometimes release chemical signals that cause NK cells to attack, right? So, for example, if a cell is got infected by the virus, what will it do? It will downgrade the function of your MHC complex. Thus, when it is downgraded, our NK cell will immediately recognize that it has a non-self and immediately kill the cells. That is how the mode of action happens, and that is how, see, this is a beautiful picture of mode of action. So, NK cell attacking the healthy cell, but not destroying it, because the inhibitor receptor is activated. It has got MHC molecules, so it is able to bind to it. But here, as it doesn't have any proper MHC class 1 molecules, and there is a release of cytotoxic and cytokine granules, finally killing the tumor cell. So that is how, the healthy cells and the tumor cells have been differentiated by NK cell. So in the coming class, I will talk about how the blood cells are formed in the human body. So please let me know in the comment section if you have any doubt. Thank you and have a very nice day.